All right, Adam here, and in this lesson, we're going to go over the first mistake or the first problem that you might run into when troubleshooting your rosters after you've built them. So again, I've built the 50 rosters. I click on the exposures tab, and I'm looking for red. I'm looking for red on my actual exposures, and I always start with quarterback. You should always start with quarterback. The biggest problems that I've seen typically have to do with the rules that I built around quarterbacks, not really the exposures, but typically the rules, the grouping rules, the stacking rules, and the bringbacks. And in this case, this actually won't be a problem with that, but you'll see why in a second. Definitely have some problems here. And one of the big things that you'll see here is I have 5 quarterbacks, but in my canvas, this is why it's really important to go check. Like you ask yourself, is this what I wanted? It's good to have a reference. In this case, there's 6 quarterbacks, and poor Minshew is not in the stack. So no Minshew magic in these rosters. That was a really bad joke. Why is Gardner Minshew not getting any rostership or any exposure in my lineups? First thing you do is always go check the rules. Player groups, check my Minshew rules. What did I do wrong? And in this case, I didn't do anything wrong. It's a trick question. I actually have Minshew as the anchor with one of his pass catchers. That's what the 2 and 2 means. Exactly one of his pass catchers have to be on every Minshew stack. This actually looks good. So the next level of troubleshooting then is to say, well, what are the exposures to the players? Like, did I get any Devontae Adams? Did I get any Jacoby Myers? So I'm going to search for Devontae, and oh no, I have a problem. And the problem was, Devontae Adams is not in my player pool. Jacoby Myers, not in my player pool. And guess what? Brock Bowers, not in my player pool. So the Bink machine had to make a decision. You've given it basically 2 contradictory rules in that I want to roster Minshew and I want Minshew to be one of his pass catchers 100% of the time, but I don't want to play any of his pass catchers. The Big Machine has to make a decision about this, and I'm glad it made this decision. It could have made the decision to say, well, I've got to fulfill my 14% Minshew requirement, so I'm just going to throw in some of these pass catchers because they got to be fulfill the rule. Or it could break the rule entirely. Just I'm going to play Minshew naked because I got to fulfill the 40%. I actually like the Big Machine's decision, and it does this. It will not play that player. And that's a really good thing. And so you got to go fix this. And the way you fix it is you go roster Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers, or you got to find a way to get 14% of Raiders pass catchers so it can fulfill that requirement. Just make sure that when you do that, you're taking 14% away from other players that you already have, because otherwise you'll be overexposed at wide receiver and it just won't work. So I hope that was a helpful first lesson. In the second lesson, we'll talk about some of the same problems, but with double stacking.